I love my wife, but like most couples, we had different sleeping needs. One of us likes it warm, and the other prefers to stay cool. You can probably guess who's who. About 15 years ago, I set out on a mission to find the perfect fabric to keep us both comfortable. I found it in Viscose from Bamboo. I'm Tyler, founder of Cozy Earth. Cozy Earth offers the softest, most comfortable sheets, towels, PJs, joggers, and more. Our premium bamboo viscose fabric is incredibly soft, breathable, and moisture wicking.
You can listen to us on your smart speaker, and it's easy to do. Just say, "Hey Alexa, play Fox Sports 940.
Here are the top Brothers Osborne songs that you've thumbed up.
Number 3.
It Ain't My Fault.
I got my hands up, I need an alibi. Find me a witness who can testify. You made a mistake, you got the wrong guy. I'm only guilty of a damn good time. No, it ain't my fault.
Number 2.
Stay a Little Longer.
One more drink leads to another. You slide up close to me. Tear the t-shirts off each other. Your hands all over me. I tell myself I'm not in love, but one more time is a not in love. One last kiss and then you're gone. And learn you should maybe stay a little long.
Number 1.
I'm Not For Everyone.
I'm always speaking my mind when I'm better off biting my tongue. I'm a bad show at the wrong time. Well, I'm a legend of my own mind. I'm good for some, but I'm not for everyone.
Hear more from Brothers Osborne and similar artists now.
Search for Brothers Osborne on iHeartRadio.
All your favorite music,
All your favorite stations,
all free.
Fox Sports Radio. Miami's Fox Sports 940.
Greatness is here.
Best damn sports talk on your radio. Miami's Fox Sports 940.
Yeah.
Best damn sports talk on your radio. Number 1 on your car radio preset and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. WINCA in Miami. WMIB FM HD2 Fort Lauderdale. Free never sounded so good.
Pitch. Stowers cracks that one out to center and deep. Siri is back. He looks up and it's gone. The Marlins waste no time. Kyle Stowers with a 2-run shot, and they take a 2-0 lead in the first.
Miami Marlins baseball is on deck.
2-1. That kicks away from Rodriguez. Hill breaks for the plate. There will be no throw. And on a wild pitch, the Marlins walk it off again. 1-2. Conine lifts out to left field. Tommy Pham working back to the warning track. So is Sawinski. They look up and it's gone. Griffin Conine to left center. And we're tied at 2 in the 7th.
Marlins on deck. Brought to you by ADT, the official smart security partner of the Miami Marlins and Norwegian Cruise Line. Experience more at sea. Let's head out to the ballpark. Here's your host, Steven Strong.
Well, nice job, Ahmed, and also happy belated birthday to you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Great to be home in Miami, live in Lone Depot Park on an 87-degree hot Friday night. Roof and walls open on Barbie Night 2025. For our StreamYard audience, I'm sporting some pink here tonight. You're listening to Miami Marlins baseball on the radio, Fox Sports 940 Miami. Can you believe it? Game 43 of 162. We're a quarter of a way done, and as Major League Baseball continues to evolve, we introduce to you rivalry weekend across all of baseball, and tonight the Citrus Series will kick off the festivities as Miami settles in for a 6-game homestand beginning tonight. We bring you game 1 of a 3-game interleague set between the 20-23 Tampa Bay Rays and your 16-26 Miami Marlins. Max Meyer will swagger out to the mound to make his 9th start, and good news for him, no Austin Jones behind the dish. Everyone smirk. 24-year-old right-hander Taj Bradley will go opposite. He will toe the rubber for Kevin Cash's Rays. Bradley will make his 9th start of the season as well. First pitch slated, of course, for every Friday at 7:10. Right here on the Marlins Radio Network. Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome into Marlins on Deck. I'm with Jack McMullen and Craig Minervini, who joins the mix. I'm Steven Strom. It's great to have you aboard here. Thanks for making us a part of your Friday night. Let's get you the lineup for the show. We will talk about where both teams are at. Clayton McCullough will join the program as well. We'll get you the count with Bradley and Meyer. Jack will jump in for some back and forth. Craig Minervini doing the car wash today, so no Craigie until first pitch. We'll get to our X-Poll question of today at Marlins Radio, and, of course, Steve's guarantee to victory. So we'll take a breath here. And we'll start with the Tampa Bay Rays. And Peter Bendix will see his old team again, not the first time. And Tampa's blueprint this year has been pitching, but you wouldn't know it after their series in Toronto. The Rays took 2 out of 3, and they plated 20 runs in both of the wins, which has them at 20 and 23. 21-year-old Junior Caminario has been up and down, 247 with 8 home runs. Josh Lowe is back off the IL. He made an immediate impact yesterday, 3 for 5 with the home run. But the interesting note when trying to get us ready for this series, the Rays against right-handed starters as a team are hitting .265. 30 of their 39 home runs have come against right-handers with a .731 OPS. Now, that is in 30 games. Against Southpaws, they are hitting .193 as a team with 9 home runs in a .560 OPS in 13 games. Max Meyer, of course, being a right-hander tonight. We will not see Ryan Weathers. At least that's what we don't think. Of course, he did start on Wednesday night. I guess he technically could if they wanted to push it. But interesting note there. We'll see how Max Meyer fares against this Rays lineup. For the Marlins, a week in Chicago produced a 2-4 road trip with some real strides and some setbacks. The strides, we'll start with the positive, was the starting staff. Ryan Weathers returned, like I just mentioned. He went 5 frames, gave up 1 run. Valente Belloso, 4 frames of 1-run ball, which, by the way, Belloso has been moved to the bullpen. Anthony Veneziano optioned. Of course, the Marlins needed to make a move with Weathers coming up. Edward Cabrera pitched 5 frames of 1-run ball. So from the starting perspective, it's been very encouraging. Kyle Stowers continues to shine, 4 home runs with a 1327 OPS over that 6-game road trip. He has 8 home runs in his last 13 games. He's tied with this guy named Shohei Ohtani for the most home runs in the majors with 8 dating back to April 30th. Now, the setback, of course, we need to keep it real here. The setback was hitting with runners in scoring position. Over the 6 games in Chicago, 3 against the Sox, 3 against the Cubbies, the Marlins were 5 for 49. That is a 102 batting average. Of course, goes through it. It happens throughout the season. But that is the one emphasis, I think, for Miami's offense coming into this homestand against the Rays and the Cubs. Coming up next, Clayton McCullough, Marlins manager, will get us ready for first pitch. We'll talk Max Meyer and a little bit what he was doing. He was on the field today. Clayton was doing some work on the field. We'll reveal that next on the Marlins Radio Network.
In deals. And Stowers hits one high in the air, out to left center. That's pushing Suzuki back. He's looking up, and it's gone. Kyle Stowers and Oppo Taco. Field can. 1-2 pitch. Oh. Augustine massacres a ball. Out to left and deep. That thing is gone. Augustine Ramirez cutting through the haze. And the second solo homer for the Fish doubles their lead in the top of the 4th. Homers. Well, they were all solo homers. 0-2 pitch. Stowers hits one deep again down the right field line. You got Tucker looking up, and that one is gone. A multi-homer day for Stowers, and his 3rd multi-homer day on the year. And the homer fest against Tyone continues.
98 was the...
If you had to give us a pie chart of why you feel Sandy hasn't performed to what we think Sandy is, what would the slices look like?
I think the comeback from injury, I don't think it's a detail we can just gloss over. Like, I'm not going to put blame or make excuses, but Sandy was a guy who thrived on execution and command. And coming back from surgery, a significant one like Tommy John, execution and command tend to be the last thing to come back. You return to health, you feel strong, you usually return to your normal velocity, which he has shown he's capable of. Now, it will be hit or miss. Like, some days he's going to have probably 95, 97, and other days he's going to have 98 to 100. And that's another, you have to take inventory each day, each start of what you're going to have on that given day. Something that was encouraging, at least if we're going to isolate something from yesterday, is he started out the game mostly in the 95, 97 range, and then you saw about the fourth or fifth inning, he started to tick up to like 97, 98, grabbed a.
Back here on the Marlins Radio Network as we get you ready for Game 1 of the Citrus Series, 7:10 first pitch. We're up against the elements here. DJ CP is having an absolute ball out here. Steven Strom joined by Clayton McCullough, as always, for every first game of each series. I saw you running the bases today. Were you running from third to home? What was going on today?
I don't know if I would consider that running. I mean, I was maybe getting out of the chute. It was more of a start than an actual run. I know my limitations with how far I run before something might start to grab. So it was more giving the initial look than it was about finishing the play, Steven.
You look good out there. I'm not going to lie. Okay, Kyle Stowers, he's in company right now with some big names. We're talking about barrel rate, home runs, RBIs. With Ohtani, these are big names that he's up against. What do you feel as an organization that you have in a guy in Kyle Stowers?
Well, I think like the talent was always, part of the intrigue in acquiring Kyle and the person. Like I think Kyle is he's a great teammate. Someone that is a steady presence, and the time last year really was a good learning lesson for Kyle. Coming into this year, it was. Again, you're back at the major league level, another sample, another opportunity. You see the areas where people, expose you some, and he came in this year the ability to make adjustments to that, and I think he's covered up some with especially the fastball, and now the ability to use the other side of the field. The power to left center has been incredible, and the up and in heater he got to the other day that he pulled for a homer. So he's hitting fastballs to all parts of the park for power, and also has enough left to ride out some secondaries and do impact as well.
And on the other side, the pitching is trending. In Chicago, we saw Bayoso, we saw Cal, we saw Edward Cabrera. Max Meyer, we've seen him at his very best, quote-unquote, this season. His ERA went from a 2 to now a 4 over the last couple of weeks. How would you explain the balloon in ERA?
I think when you're still talking about an early sample of innings and starts that a couple that aren't as great as some of the others, is easy for the numbers to get skewed one way or the other, right? And I think, the start against Cincinnati was, it might be the best start of anybody this season, right? I mean, that was an incredible outing. And so, as you get going through more outings, people are, they start to game plan a little bit differently. They start to, make some adjustments. And it's not that Max needs to completely, get away from what's made him successful. It's just, okay, get back. How's the execution been? Are you getting predictable in certain counts? Are you getting predictable, with where you're, and how you're using everything? And so just what you have is still plenty good, and that you're going to there's going to be a stretch of starts throughout every season where, it's a little clunkier than others. So, expect the Max to come out here today and be aggressive, pound in the strike zone, and I think we'll take our chances every, fifth or sixth day with that version.
Pumped to see him tonight as you take on the Rays in the Citrus Series. This is an interesting team. They steal a lot of bases. They've got a really good manager. What are some of the talking points going into this series against Tampa?
They play sound defense in a lot of places. So you have good defenders. You have an aggressive base running team, especially stealing third base. So things at least just to be aware of. Not that you need to play out of control and play fast, but just be aware that they're going to look to take any opportunity and advantage they can of if it presents itself. And it's always been a very unique bullpen, their ability to build bullpens that, handiness, unique pitch characteristics, pitch types, where they stand on the rubber. They're very smart in that way, and they've done a very good job there. So throughout a 3-game, 4-game series, you're not really seeing the same look that often. And then their starters have good stuff too. So it's a group they've won a lot of games. Kevin Cash has done a remarkable job there now for a number of years in a highly competitive AL East for them just to continue year after year to be in position to win that division and win a lot of games.
We try to make predictions as radio guys, but there's no one that usually makes them more cleaner and usually right than the manager. We asked you last week who you felt was going to get going. You said Connor Norby. It checked out. We've seen Augustine, we've seen Stowers, we've seen Norby. Who's next on Clayton's list that you feel like it doesn't even have to be offensively? Maybe it can be a pitcher that's going to have a nice couple of weeks.
Yeah, on the pitching side, I'm going to take Sandy, and I think the last couple for me really the LA start, the White Sox start with Sandy. I mean, you wish you could throw out a few pitches in a game and it changes it, but I think overall, I think he's trending. I think his confidence is building. So I suspect that we're going to see a version of Sandy that continues to trend upward as we get through this season. And then offensively, I'm going to go with Eric Wagman because I still believe it. You know what? Wags is
my guy.
We believe, we still believe in Wags a ton. And again, it's a small pocket of at bats, and some struggles, but I think that's part of the growth and the learning. So I think Wags is gonna, get himself out of this and get back to the guy who controls the zone very well and has the ability to impact.
You're the best. Thank you for the time.
Oh, love you guys. Thanks.
All right, love you too. Coming up next, we'll get you out of the count with Taj Bradley and Max Meyer. 7:10 first pitch Citrus Series right here on the Marlins Radio Network.
Some days, my active psoriatic arthritis makes it hard to
do this. Derek Hill is the first hitter, and Hill smacks one out to left center field and deep. That is back, and it's gone. A couple rows deep into left center field. Derek Hill cuts the deficit by a bit. This ball upstairs. 2-1 pitch. Stowers hits one high in the air out to center field. Crow Armstrong back. Crow Armstrong at the track. He looks up, and it's gone. Kyle Stowers got 96 right over the heart of the plate, and he belts his 8th homer of the year. And the Marlins strike first, 1-0 here in the second. Changeup. He throws it about 4% of the time to lefties. 1-2 pitch. That a ground ball over to second. The runner coming home. Horner bobbles it. His only play is to first base, and Javier Sanoja on the fish bailed out by a Gold Glover in Horner dropping the ball. We'll take it. Norby scores from third, and it's an RBI ground out for Sanoja. It's 2-1 fish in the top of the fifth. Got a 4.11 ERA. Next pitch, Norby hammers. That is going a mile. Out to left and deep. It is gone. Connor Norby nearly hunting Waveland. A solo homer to open the seventh. And it's 3-2 fish.
I saw Norby's dad on the field last night when Kelly and I were doing the post.
3-2 to Sanchez. That one a line shot through into left for a base hit. They're going to send the runner from second. Here comes the throw home. It's a little bit late, and Hill is in with a head first dive. Sanchez pushes to second on the throw, and it's an RBI opposite field single for Jesus. It's 4-2 fish in the seventh.
Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
This is Clayton McCullough here, and you're listening to Marlins on Deck with Steven Strom on the Marlins Radio Network.
Love you too, Clayton. Yeah, he dropped an I love you today, and I made sure I didn't miss. Welcome back here to Marlins on Deck, live from Lone Depot Park. The roof and the walls are open. It's about 86 degrees. It's hot. It's a typical Miami. I would say, let me take that back. Not typical because it would be a little bit more humid, but it's going to be a beautiful night for baseball. Again, city behind the roof and the walls. It's just exquisite. It's unbelievable. Steven Strom, Jack McMullen, and Craig Minervini, those two have your call. Jack will join me actually in the next segment. He's still on deck. We will get you out of the count, though, to start tonight. Taj Bradley, 24-year-old right-hander, former fifth-round pick in the 2018 draft. He debuted in 2023 with the Rays. He made 25 starts last year. And now, all of a sudden, the 24-year-old is in season 3, 3-2, a 4.24 ERA, over 46 2/3 innings pitched. His last start on Saturday against the Brewers allowed 2 runs on 4 hits, 5 punch-outs across 6 innings. That's called a quality start, folks. 11 whiffs on 84 pitches. Bradley's now allowed 3 runs or fewer in 6 of his 8 starts. The 2 keys for Taj, he keeps the ball on the ground 46.3%, but he also walks guys, 9.9%. That's something the Marlins are going to have to do. And for Bradley, he has 19 walks over 40 2/3 innings pitched. We'll see if the Marlins plate discipline pays off against Bradley. He throws a 4-seamer, a nice split, cutter, and a curveball. He did face the Marlins last July, and I remember that vividly because that was the trade deadline day where we didn't know how many guys were actually going to play. There was multiple guys traded, of course, from Miami to different spots across the league. And in that start, Taj Gibson. That's what I was always thinking. Taj Gibson. Taj Bradley in his 1 start, 5 innings, 4 runs, 4 hits, 6 punch-outs in a 6-2 loss to the Marlins. So Taj Bradley will go opposite Max Meyer here tonight. Good to see Maxie, 26-year-old right-hander from Woodbury, Minnesota. He will also make his 9th start, 2-4 with a 4.37 ERA. Meyer took the loss on Friday, and there was some drama attached to it against the White Sox. 5 runs on 5 hits, 6 1/3. He got into it with home plate umpire Austin Jones after a few calls, and I want to play that sound of Max on what he had to say after his start against the White Sox.
I'll have to take a look at his scorecard or whatever gets out there, but it was like just look at the
Bring it up here on StreamYard.
2 sliders for strikes, and that's 2-0 homer and all that stuff happens, and just it's really hard to be a pitcher. I feel like nowadays with all this stuff. I know we have the automated zone or whatever coming, but it's just really hard and frustrating right now. I'm gonna get over it. I always get over it, but it's just really hard, and I'm obviously very frustrated with what happened. It was just a fast game, and I'll have to see what happened, where all these balls are missing. It's got to be about 7 to 8, maybe even 10. It felt like swinging counts, but at the end of the day, I got to finish the job, and I didn't. I'll have to take a look at his scorecard.
That was Max Meyer on his start last Friday, against the White Sox. So what we've seen from Meyer after this dominant start against Cincinnati, his ERA was at a 2.10. He has now given up 5 earned runs in each of his last 3 starts. That's why the ERA is at 4.37. It'll be his first career start against the Rays. So interesting matchup here on the mound. 2 really good right-handers, probably better than what their numbers have shown this year, with Bradley 4.24 ERA and definitely with Max Meyer 4.37. So we could have a pitching duel not only tonight, but probably over the weekend between the Rays and the Marlins. On the way, Jack McMullen. He's ready. He's fired up. He joins me next to talk Kyle Stowers, a red-hot Kyle Stowers, one of the hottest bats in all of baseball right now. We'll discuss him plus Max Meyer. That's all next on the Marlins Radio Network.
Miami Marlins.
I think they're sick. I like the colors. Like I just said, the teals, I think that's Miami baseball. That's Marlins baseball. The pink's a nice little touch. That logo, this logo, I think that might be the best one that we've had in maybe ever, in my opinion. So I wish we would use it more. And I wish we'd bring back the teal full time, but beggars can't be choosers. But it's overall really cool.
I love it. Yeah, I think the colors are cool. The design, the meaningful design behind the music scene in Miami is a pretty cool touch. I feel like they're not too different from our normal uniforms, but they have just enough flair to draw a crowd, hopefully, and feel cool wearing them.
I like them. I'm a big fan of highlighter colors. I love the bright blue and the bright pink. That's what I got for you.
You guys are the first team in Major League history to have an area code donned on your cap. What do you think about that?
It's a unique touch, I think. Everyone knows Miami is the 305, Pitbull, the music industry, which is what the jerseys are pretty much themed from, and the history behind the Marlins organization, the 2 World Championships. It's cool, and there's so many different things to do in Miami. There's so many different people. It's a community that brings everybody together, and I think that's what the jersey is really about.
I love it. I think that's kind of synonymous with what people think of when they hear Miami. Pitbull really did a good job.
We said the same thing.
Yeah. I think everyone knows what the 305 is. So I think it's a cool hat.
If you had to take any fashion advice from your teammates, who would be the guy you'd take some fashion advice from?
Yeah, probably Connor Norby. Yeah, I'd say more of like the reverse of what he does. Don't do that.
Thanks.
Requiere extender Internet. Velocidades reales varían. Velocidades se reducen después del uso de 30 gigabits por línea. Los límites de datos y los ahorros reales varían.
Take the Marlins wherever you go. Download the iHeartRadio app and make Fox Sports 940 the top preset to listen to every Marlins game. Miami back in town here for the next 6. We play 3 with the Rays with the Citrus Series, and then we welcome back the Chicago Cubs into town. Marlins just faced them. And looking to get on off to the right foot here, Steven Strom, Jack McMullen, and Craig Minervini. Those 2 have your call. But we welcome in Jack now, and look, you can't get enough. It's like, when you read the newspaper about Kyle Stowers, I just can't get enough, Jack. 8 home runs in the last 13 games, tied with Shohei Ohtani for the most homers in the major since April 30th. I asked Clayton McCullough this. What do you feel like the organization got? Because We've seen this guy. The question mark was, can he be an everyday guy? Check. Can he produce at a high level? Check. Can he be an all-star? Check. Like, what is the next thing for this guy?
I don't know. I mean, continue to do this. I feel like that's the logical next step, is just continue keeping the good vibes rolling. And honestly, I want to see what it looks like when he wakes up from this dream. Obviously, 8 homers across 13 games or whatever you just said, like 8 homers since April 30th, being tied with Shohei Ohtani for the most in baseball, regardless of sample, is crazy. Is that sustainable for a guy like Kyle Stowers? Probably not. What does it look like when we get the 50th percentile of Kyle Stowers? Because right now I think we're getting the 90th percentile or the 95th percentile. What does a normal Kyle Stowers month look like? And I think it looks a heck of a lot better than at any point in his Major League Baseball career. This guy, what he has done, he has elevated the floor for him as a baseball player, and he's also elevated the ceiling. And we are riding this high of a great ceiling for Kyle Stowers.
Let's look at the pitching matchup tonight. Interesting, 2 right-handers, and I kind of mentioned this in ahead of the count. They probably have ERAs that should be a little bit better just based on what kind of stuff they have. But for Max Meyer, if you had to explain to me how he went from a 2.10 ERA in April to a 4.28, how would you break it down for me?
Yeah, I think lack of execution on the slider over his last couple of starts has left the fastball a bit susceptible. And here's what I mean by that. This guy does not have a great fastball. It's hard. It's 95 miles an hour, but by shape, it's
kind of flat.
Yeah, it's a dead zone fastball. What does that mean? Well, it looks like any fastball that you saw growing up, right? The good fastballs are the ones that carry a little bit more than the normal fastball you saw growing up, or that sink a bit more than the normal fastball you saw growing up. His is a lot like the normal fastball that you saw growing up, just hard. And major league hitters can hit a hard, normal fastball. So the slider needs to be perfect. And the slider literally was perfect through his first 5 or so starts. Then the last 2, 3, it's kind of gotten not out of whack, but, it's just gotten away from being perfect like it was against Cincinnati. And I also think slider execution is really important there, where he is at his best when he is getting called strikes at the knees, at the bottom of the strike zone, and then getting swings underneath that or over the top of that pitch. He's getting swings on pitches that are underneath the strike zone. I think if Max gets back to that knee-high, shin-high slider, we could be looking at him piling up the punch-outs, and it's one of the best sliders in baseball. I was doing some digging here. Among starting pitchers, Max Meyer has the second highest whiff rate on his slider at 46% this year. The only guy higher is Cincinnati's Hunter Green. Hunter Green's one of the best pitchers in baseball. Max Meyer was pitching like one of the best pitchers in baseball, and he clearly has one of the best sliders in the game.
Well, Meyer's looking to be a catalyst here tonight, Jack. And looking at the team that we're about to face over the next 3 days, a couple things jump out, but we'll stick with just the stolen bases. They've got the guy in Chandler Simpson, who is just runs everywhere. They're second in baseball in stolen bases. The Marlins, of course, have struggled with that area. It looks like they're trending, but this is going to be a big part, I think, of the weekend, Jack.
Yeah, I think so. Chandler Simpson keeping him off of first base, keeping Jose Caballero off of first base as well, and not letting their 21-year-old future superstar third baseman get hot. Junior Caminero is one of the best young hitters in Major League Baseball. Sometimes he looks like an all-star. Sometimes he looks 21 years old.
Yeah.
Let's make him look 21 years old this weekend.
I would love that, Jack. Good job by you, Craig Minervini, again doing the car wash. Ditched us for pregame. We'll give him some crap when he comes back. We'll give him the mic. You know, Craigie, he's ready to roll, and he's ready to rock. Coming up next, we will do our X-Poll question. Tough one tonight at Marlins Radio. We also have a special, and this was an awesome podcast today. Awesome podcast. We won't reveal it, but a special guest coming out this weekend on Side Sessions. Maybe, just maybe, I'll reveal it. We'll get our X-Poll question of the day on Marlins Radio and Steve's Guarantee. And maybe the podcast guest. That's next on the Marlins Radio Network.
Straight. But every now and then, they slow down. That bat slows down.
A 1 pitch. Stowers hits that one deep. Out to right. Pretty deep. Palacios back. And it's gone. What were you saying?
That bat speeds up.
A solo shot for Kyle Stowers. It's his 7th on the year. 109 off the bat, and we're tied at 1 in the top of the 7th. 2-0 pitch. That one a line shot up the middle. That's plucked in the backhand by Sanoha. He slid there. He tosses to first on a hop, and Wagaman picked it to end of the inning.
My goodness, Sanoha. That That cat can play.
Great play by Javier Sanoja. That was a ground ball, seemed destined for center field, and he slid to his backhand. He plucked it. He popped up from a slide, and he threw to first to get Elko by a step.
Famer. He says it only takes one swing.
Eric Wagaman lines one into left center field. That gets down. Past the dive of the center fielder, Taylor. That rolls to the wall. It plates the go-ahead run from second and insurance from first. The throw going to third base. Wagaman gets in with a feet-first slide. He snuck the hand onto the third base bag, and it's a 2-run triple for Eric Wagaman here in the top of the eighth.
That's his first 2-out situations. 2-out RBI situations.
Xavier Edwards with a bouncing ball up the middle. That's past the dive of the second baseman Sosa into center field. Mervis will score from second. Fortes goes first to third. And yet another 2-out RBI. X, the leadoff man, ties it at 1 in the fourth. Somerset is a Yankee prospect. Ended the year with Jacksonville. The 0-2 pitch is a little tapper. Third base.
Ballhall.org.
Don't miss a moment of Marlins action. Download the iHeartRadio app. Make Fox Sports 940 the top preset. Then listen to every Marlins game. Welcome in here on this Friday night. We're pumped to give you Marlins baseball live from Lone Depot Park. About 86 degrees. The roof and the walls are open. The beautiful city of Miami is in the distance, and it is just going to be a perfect night for baseball. Max Meyer will go opposite Taj Bradley here tonight. Marlins, nice win on Wednesday night at Wrigley, looking to carry over that momentum. Off day yesterday, but coming into tonight, Marlins looking to get on the right foot for this homestand. 3 with the Rays and then 3 with the Cubbies in a couple of days. Let's get to our at Marlins Radio Expo question. Well, it is rivalry weekend, the first of its kind in Major League Baseball. When did the Citrus Series begin? Come on, folks. When was the Rays founded? Make sure to vote at Marlins Radio. Special guest on the podcast, Augustine Ramirez. We sat down with him, Jack and I, Louis Durante translating. It was an awesome spot. We tried to get as much of his childhood as possible, just where he came from, who he was, values, all that stuff. Make sure to keep an eye out on that. We will put that out at some point tomorrow. It's time for Steve's Guarantee.
Batter up. Batter up.
Let's play some ball.
First pitch is moments away. Time now for Steve's Guarantees.
Got to be Maximilian's night. I mean, last week in Chicago was very upset with home plate umpire Austin Jones. You have to kind of think that karma is going to turn over here tonight, hopefully for the good. I think Max Meyer registers a quality start. 5 runs given up in his last 3 games. He gets right, I think, against this Rays lineup, who are 23rd in team runs and 24th in slug. Folks, I hope you got the itch for first pitch, because when we come back, Jack McMullen, he paints a picture. Craig Minervini, I hope he's here, but he'll be ready to rock. Starting lineups in first pitch is right around the corner. Thanks for tuning in to the Marlins On Deck pregame show. I'm Steven Strom. Let's flip the M together, Miami. Marlins baseball is next. This is the Marlins Radio Network.
Million